Welcoming everyone up above Travis Roy Rink in Marion, Massachusetts on the campus of Tabor Academy. I'm JJ Sylvia, joined by Joey Frank once more for another installment of SB Blue Raiders Varsity Ice Hockey here on SB Blue Raiders Studios and Somerset Access TV. And Joey, tonight it's a big test for this Raider squad coming in at 4-3. They have to face a 3-4 Old Rochester team that has been battle tested in the early portion of their season.
Yeah, of course, John. Any SEC game is always going to be a huge battle. Very important games tonight when you play in conference. It's going to be a physical one, just like the last two have been against Dartmouth and Apponequet. Let's key in on the Raiders' defense tonight and see how physical they can play in front of their own net.
The Raiders have had their struggles both in the defensive zone and on the breakout. It's been something they've been working on in a season that has been a big adjustment, Joey, because now you're co-oping 4 different schools when in years past the Raiders were only comprised of Case and Somerset-Berkley. Now it's 4 different school districts. It has to be a challenge for this coaching staff to mesh all these new student athletes together.
100%. When you're combining different schools, it takes a lot. You know, you got to accustomed to what kids are used to from the other school and get your kids to gel well with the new kids. It's definitely a learning curve, but so far I think Somerset's done well with it. Let's see if they can continue it tonight and build upon that.
Raiders look to build upon the momentum they've been building over the past few games and look to grab another dub, this time on the road. Let's head down to the ice for the national anthem, and we'll be right back on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. Out Old Rochester trying to clear, kept in by Preston. Aaron Preston, top of the circle, whiffed on the shot. It trickled all the way below goal for McKenna to chase it down. McKenna will battle with Cody Souza. McKenna starts a pass cycle up top. Sullivan, the shot, right into the clutching glove of Tucker Roy.
Yeah, most shots generated so far, John, are coming from the point, which look to Somerset to get in front of the OR's goalie and screen them and get bodies in front for rebounds.
Barboza tries to keep it in, but Old Rochester coming forward with Estevez. Estevez to dump it down as he takes a topple in a collision with Bastis. Barboza couldn't handle it near board. Kept in at the line for the moment by Austin before Somerset moves the other way. Barboza looking for Mello. It goes off the post after it deflected off of Gavin Estevez. Luckily, Tucker Roy able to keep it out.
Almost a little lucky own goal there by Old Rochester. Unlucky, own goal there by Old Rochester. It looked like Barboza tried to lift it, but it ended up hitting the Old Rochester defender. It's one of those freaky moment plays there.
Gush wins that battle again, and now he looks for a pass in the middle. Marquez whiffed on it, and it will go all the way back down. Carter Sylvia first on the forecheck. Sylvia engaged in a heavy stick battle with Carrico. Back in front, shot from the point by Gonzalez, just wide, probably got deflected. Sylvia to cycle it low with Axon to crash in on Mike Brown. Axon getting help from Sylvia up that far board and moved out. Chance for Marquez as he moves in 2-on-1. Marquez, the shot and a save by Nate Minash.
And before, John, I noticed on Old Rochester's other possession during their offensive play, Marquez was wide open. He just whiffed on that shot. That would have been a great opportunity. That's what I'm talking about before. SB has to get bodies on bodies in their defensive zone, but they're going to allow a lot of good opportunities.
Raiders looking to cash in on an opportunity here with their highly touted first line back on the ice. That one blocked by Mello at the point. He'll have a chance to bring it down. Nate Mello, the slap shot, and a pad stop by Roy. Far board, Barboza trying to keep it in, pushes it back towards the goal, but gathering it is Estevez, and he'll send it down in the direction of Gonzalez, who takes a topple. A chance for Old Rochester, and a shot goes off the mask of Minash from Chase Almeida. Bastis and Barboza working in mid-ice, taken away from them. Back the other way, it's Connor Foley, the shot, and squeezed onto by Minash.
So far, Minash not crazy tested, but so far he's been good. I like the way he's playing. Against Apponequet, I thought he played really well, and so far I like him again.
It out to Galligan. Galligan for Marquez. Marquez, the shot. Another stop for Minash, and pushing it out of harm's way is Bastis. Old Rochester still pressuring. Basquet watches a deflection toward Marquez, looking back in front, nobody home. Shoveled back below the Somerset-Berkley goal. Basquet looking back in front, got blocked on its way to Marquez. Another try, also unsuccessful. Puck on the stick of Sullivan. He'll wrap it around to the near side with Barboza crashing in. Barboza will get a chance to gather, and he does. Could be a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Barboza the shot, save Roy. Another chance as he batted at it, and he wasn't able to grab it. Old Rochester looking to turn D into O. The other way quickly is Galligan. Can't get it on goal. Now Almeida crashing in on Blankush. Has it taken from him by Blankush, and Barboza will slap it out to slow the pace. That will be an icer. Preston! It went off his skate. Old Rochester looking to clear. Blankush to keep it in. Now McKenna dangling in the slot. McKenna the shot and a stop by Tucker Roy. Lush stepping in. His shot blocked multiple times as it trickles toward Roy, and he dives on it.
I think if McKenna just gave him one look on the backside there, they might have had a goal, but either way, a good shot. Either way, a good shot and a good opportunity.
And that could go either way with momentum shifting back and forth and shots firing from both sides. Back up here in the booth, JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, the fight from both these teams is evident, and it really shows just how important this game is to both squads.
100%, John. Both teams going back and forth on the offensive side. Not as physical as I thought for a conference game, but so far I like SB's breakout. If I'm Old Rochester, though, I want to be more aggressive with my D. Take a few chances. Don't be afraid to get physical and lay a hit or two and risk it. Tell your offense to play a little more passive. Maybe that winger or center that's been floating around the high slot, tell him to play a little more passive, and tell your D to be more aggressive and lay a hit or two. Because that's what Dartmouth was getting away with doing against Somerset, and they're having success. So far, I feel like Somerset's outplayed them. What Somerset needs to do is just finish. They've been getting goal leads so far. Roy had a very good period, very tested, but he definitely passed the test like I said before. What do you think?
I really do have to agree with you, Joey. Tucker Roy stepped up, Nate Minash stepped up. Both goaltenders have kind of highlighted this first period in a lot of ways. We talk a lot about the defense and offense, but the goaltenders are just as important in these games as well. We're going to see how these goaltenders can push their teams to victory as we get through the rest of this one. We'll take a short break for Joey Frank and I will be back for the second period here on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. And welcome back in, everyone. Once again inside Travis Roy Arena. Joey Frank and JJ Sylvia with you. And Joey, now that we've gotten through that grudge match of the first period, Old Rochester is going to be looking for someone to step up on home ice and propel them to a victory the rest of this way. Who do you think is going to be that person for the Bulldogs? Well, John, before we went to break, I talked about Old Rochester being a lot more physical. Look for defenseman Gavin Austin. I'd like to see him step up and come out with a big hit, maybe to start the period off. Could lift his team and hopefully gain momentum while they have the puck in the offensive zone. Old Rochester does have a good student section in attendance tonight as well. That could play a factor, as Carter and I talked about during the basketball game most recently. Those student sections, especially at hockey games in a small arena like this, could play a big factor in terms of momentum, intimidation, and how it swings. 100%. Look at last game. Dartmouth always brings it. Their crowd was loud and they were there. Look for maybe Old Rochester's fans to get up and get loud here early to help boost their team, because so far I felt like Somerset has outplayed them, but they have had possessions in Somerset's defensive zone. So let's hope the fans can get into it here. Let's head back down to ice level as we get underway here in this second period. Second line out there for the Raiders as we start. Face-off won by Preston. Barboza for checking. He gets crossed up by Foley, and Old Rochester will move. Pass into the middle, Freights. He has a chance. His shot, shoulder stop by Minash. Bulldogs looking to keep it in their zone, push it below goal. Sullivan, the hard pass up the far board. That's Barboza. Barboza up for Adam Bastis. He'll gain blue. Bastis cutting into the middle, can't get the shot off. Bulldogs looking to turn it the other way quickly. Mello tried to shut it down, but Old Rochester Fairhaven will dump it in with Connor Foley. Axon the other way for the Blue Raiders. Into the zone, puts it toward goal, sticked away by Roy. Axon up top. Blankush, his shot. Stop Roy. A rebound chance for Sylvia, and he scores. Evan Sylvia breaks the ice here in the second period. It's 1-0 Somerset-Berkley.
Right there, John. What did we talk about all first period? Generating offense with shots from the point. It all started because Old Rochester left the point wide open. Number 7, Blankush gets a good shot and a rebound. They get bodies in front and they bury it. Great play by Somerset. Great shot by Blankush there.
Mello and Galligan gets Mello back before Mello does him one more. Mello to Bastis to slap it in. Barbosa chasing it down far board. Evan Barbosa hops off a check. Wraps below goal. Barbosa up top. Gonzalez. His shot wide on the glove side of Tucker Roy. Sullivan looking back door. Barbosa. What a blocker stop by Tucker Roy. That'll be on his highlight reel. Maybe even on ESPN's top 10. Now back to the side. Barbosa again dangling. Couldn't get it through. Puck trickles back up top. Gonzalez puts it toward goal. It went into the skates of Sullivan. Old Rochester trying to clear. They'll get it out to center and back into Somerset's defensive end. Barbosa looking to keep the hot shift going for the first line. Finds Gonzalez, who's met by Marquez, and he goes down. Bastis in to help, but it's kept in at the line. Shot from the point, tipped towards the goal, and Minash trying to cover it up and gets help from a whistle. His shot just wide. Roy tried to grab it with the glove. He couldn't. Sullivan for Barbosa. And now Bastis. Bastis cycling, goes up top, Sullivan. Sullivan will trade with his co-captain. Bastis, the toe drag. Had no lane, so we'll give it up Barbosa. Barbosa will trade with Bastis, and now Sullivan. Somerset-Berkley being patient. Sullivan, the shot goes wide. Bastis trying to keep it in. He can't. Raiders resetting in neutral ice. Bastis turns on the Jets and heads up ice. Adam Bastis by 1, by 2, and a nice defensive play on the back end to prevent that goal. It looked like getting his stick in the lane was Cody Souza. Axon, his shot, stopped by Roy. Minute left on the power play. Fitzpatrick dancing, his shot. Roy the stop, it's loose behind him, and he keeps it out. Tucker Roy reaching behind him and covering it up before Brady Fitzpatrick could swing at it.
He's been playing outstanding, Roy. The Somerset second power play got a lot of shots there, but they weren't great angle shots. I'd like to see them to pass a little bit more, get the goalie going from side to side and create a more one-time passes instead of just circling around the low end slot and getting shots there. But the first power play comes out now, so in my opinion, you're going to see a lot more passing. You're going to see a lot more cross-ice connection here.
Back to a battle of the first lines. Everybody except Bosquet out there for Old Rochester, and Somerset-Berkley with the usual suspects. Only substitution being McKenna because they're on the power play. Mello, his shot, glove down by Roy. It's loose underneath him, and he'll completely flop to make sure nobody can grab that puck here as this period comes to an end. A 1-0 Somerset-Berkley lead still, but when we come back for the third period, it will most likely be a 4-on-4 for the first 2 minutes. Back in the booth, JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, Somerset-Berkley comes out at the start of the second period, breaks the scoreless tie, and then we start to see mistakes from both sides that could have cost either of them. We are, I'm sure, both quite surprised that it's only a 1-0 game at this point.
100%. I felt like Somerset has kept most of the momentum the whole game, applying a lot more offensive zone pressure than Old Rochester. But again, the mistakes. Fitzpatrick takes not so good of a major penalty there with a punch, but luckily his captain Adam Bastis makes a good play on the penalty kill, hustles well, and causes a penalty. We're going to see 4-on-4 for about 2 minutes, but then Old Rochester's still going to go back on the power play for 3 minutes, going into about 12 minutes within the third period there. So minimize the mistakes. They're going to see 4-on-4, a lot more open ice here. I think Somerset's definitely going to have the advantage. They seem like they have a lot more speed than Old Rochester so far from these first 2 periods. I think this is an advantage for Somerset, but again, you still don't want to take those stupid penalties. We've seen, not so much in the Dartmouth game, but in the Apponequet game, we saw a lot of stupid penalties. Would you agree that Somerset has been on and off with being able to keep their discipline well? How do you feel about that?
I think discipline, we've talked about it already, Joey, in this game. Discipline and how they handle that physicality and not having to retaliate is really going to be the difference in this game, in my opinion. We'll see how this game shapes out the rest of the way. Third period on the way after another short break here on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. Marion for one more period here tonight between the Somerset-Berkley Raiders and their opponent out of the SCC, the Old Rochester Fairhaven Bulldogs. And Joey, a 1-0 lead for Somerset-Berkley, but the next 5 or so minutes are going to be very tough.
Yeah, I look for them to use their speed here on 4-on-4. They're going to see a lot of open ice. Key guys like Nate Mello and Evan Barboza use their speed and gain offensive zone possession with speed. With speed is big here. They have a big advantage over Old Rochester with that. So with the open ice, I look to them to get maybe a goal or two before they have to kill a 3-minute penalty with their speed.
And Joey, Old Rochester, if they're somehow able to claw back into this one and grab a dub here at home, they're going to have to really give big thanks to Tucker Roy.
Oh, 100%. He's been keeping them in this game the whole night. I would say it's a 4-0 game without him, personally. Hopefully they can play a little passive here during 4-on-4. Again, Somerset owns that advantage with the speed. Play a little passive, then you got a 3-minute power play. This game's far from over. It's only 1-0 despite being outshot a lot. Old Rochester's, in my opinion, comes out of these first two periods good despite being outplayed.
Let's head down to center ice and see how the rest of this one goes. JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you.
Speed.
A minute and 28 seconds left on the 4-on-4 before we go to a man advantage for OR. Up top, Sullivan. His shot. What a stop by Roy. A rebound, and Bastis seals the deal. 2-0 Somerset-Berkley in this 4-on-4 situation.
Bastis with a great play there to finish it off. Roy with a great save on Sullivan, but there's just not much he can do. His players got to get bodies on bodies. In my opinion, that's not Roy's fault there.
Round up top. Has it pushed just enough off his stick by Chase Almeida to get it out to center. Sullivan will have to restart. Mason Sullivan with Almeida still glued to him. Back for Barbosa. Dangles by one, then another, and a shot blocked. Sullivan to keep it in. Mason Sullivan dangles by one, then two. Moving in. Roy keeps it out, but the rebound put in. It's Evan Barbosa. 3-0 Somerset-Berkley.
Great play by Barbosa there to follow the play and crash the net. He saw the loose puck and just buried it on his backhand there. Mason Sullivan controlled that play for a while, dangling through defenders and created another opportunity. Two great plays by Mason Sullivan caused 2 goals for Somerset. Again, what did we talk about before the period started? 4-on-4 was going to favor Somerset, and this is the most goals they scored so far. A lot of ice and a lot of speed.
Sylvia. Evan Sylvia across the line. He's met by Bosquet and hit off the puck. To the far side, Axon goes high off glass down low. Carter Sylvia's there. Sylvia with space. Wailing top of the circle, back to the slot. His shot just wide. Sylvia still pressuring on the forecheck. Gets hit from behind up against the board. And that will be another power play for Somerset-Berkley, and the second one drawn in this game by Carter Sylvia, Joey.
Hey, he's taking a little beating, but he gets right back up and he sticks with it. I'll tell you that. That's 2 great plays. He's aggressive in the offensive zone, and it causes a penalty for Old Rochester. And now Somerset's going to go back on the power play with 8 minutes left and look to capitalize here. I mean, their first power play has looked very good today. So, again, let's hope they bury it here.
The puck coming in as McKenna to help, and kept out by Roy. Barbosa looking back in front for Bastis. He's going to keep digging for it and force it below goal, as this unit on the power play has been relentless on the forecheck. Bastis gets it back and goes up top, Sullivan. The 2 captains will trade, and now it's Barbosa below goal. Barbosa for Bastis. It hopped off his stick. Sullivan to back him up. Sullivan dangles by one below goal. And now in the near corner. Sullivan wheeling at the top of the circle, back up at the point. He's gone around the world, now up the middle. Sullivan put it off the shoulder of Roy. Old Rochester will finally clear it down to Minash. 20 seconds left on this Somerset-Berkley power play. Long pass from Mello, connects with Barbosa, and hopped off. Puck loose in front of the Somerset bench. Barboza and Bastis on a 2-on-1. Barboza's shot off the post. Back the other way. A 2-on-2 for the Bulldogs. Shot blocked and goes over the goal and out of play.
Barboza rang iron there. Roy better give that top left corner a tap because it could have been 4-0 just like that.
Stick by Langlays. And Jack Langlays will push it below goal. On the near side, Matt Tobin trying to push it back below goal. Fitzpatrick dressed it off his stick, trying to get it out. It's kept in by Austin. Gavin Austin, pass over and a stop by Minash, denying Matt Tobin. Preston trying to dangle out of his own zone, can't do it. Tobin back on the advance for the Bulldogs, pretty much on his own, will dump it below goal. Chasing is Bosquet, as Old Rochester will be forced to reset. Now Galligan across blue, going wide right side. His shot stopped by Minash, and he'll cover up the rebound opportunity with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. 5-3 on the season, 3-0 in the SEC. Old Rochester will drop to 3-5 and 1-2 in the SEC. As the final horn sounds, this one comes to an end with a 3-0 victory for Somerset-Berkley. And back here in the booth one last time, JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, that third period, Somerset-Berkley showed a lot more discipline and grit, which in the end paid to their benefit.
100%. And the period started with 4-on-4. And when we talk about pre-period, the 4-on-4 is going to be a big advantage for them due to speed. Somerset is a team with a lot of speed from the first two lines, and they want to gain possession in the offensive zone through the speed and through the rush. They don't necessarily always want to be dump and chase, but tomorrow against Nantucket, we'll look to see how physical Nantucket is, because if Nantucket plays more of a style, like I was just saying, like Dartmouth and Apponequet does, Somerset might struggle a little bit more. So, you know, you look to try to find that balance between gaining offensive possession with the rush and dumping and chasing. Tomorrow's game is at 1. So what did you think about their play today, John?
I was really impressed by Somerset-Berkley, a big bounce-back effort, but I was also impressed by Old Rochester's forechecking and the play of Tucker Roy. If you're head coach Zach Ledigar for Old Rochester Fairhaven, Joey, you have to have some positivity coming out of this one based on the performances of some of your best.
100%. A 3-0 loss, in my opinion, to a game that they got heavily outplayed is not bad. I think Tucker Roy stood on his head a lot. He made a lot of good saves. Most of Somerset's goals were rebound goals. You know, one-on-one, Tucker Roy stood up, and he was like a brick wall tonight. I thought he played well. In my opinion, he would have got one of the stars of the game if they handed out 3 stars. But yeah, what did you think about his play as well?
I have to be impressed with it. I mean, it was really a goalie battle at points tonight between Roy and Minash, and both of them stepped up in their own ways. Obviously, Minash with the shutout tonight, so that's huge for him. And as we head into a huge matchup, Joey Frank will be on the call tomorrow. I'll take a step aside for Keegan Hamlet to slide into my position. But for now, for our entire SB Blue Raider Studios crew, the Somerset Access TV crew, and my partner, Joey Frank, I'm JJ Sylvia, wishing you a good rest of your night from here in Marion, Massachusetts.